Okay, so maybe the statement by the Apollo 8 astronauts that they had spotted a monolith was really a joke, in the sense that they hadn't seen a monolith in that particular flight, those astronauts. But it wasn't a joke, I would think, because if not those astronauts, then some other astronauts had indeed seen a monolith. Okay, now I want to say I made a little mistake before. The unholy trinity, I conflated two unholy trinities there. One is the Babylonian one, Nimrod, Semiramis, Tammuz, or Tammuz. Don't remember where the accent is. And the other one, of course, is the Egyptian one, Osiris, Isis, and Horus. And so I mixed up the two a little bit, so that goes there. Also, a very important statement about where I stand on things. Since we're going to be discussing the Lucifer project, do I believe in Lucifer? Do I believe in Jesus? Okay, I do my best not to believe in anything, but to just be guided by the experience I receive, and to only transmit the experience I've had, the sensation, the perception I have, and you make up your own mind about things. Now, at this point, I am not convinced, or not convinced yet, that a historical character named Jesus Christ of Nazareth really existed. At least not one with all the attributes that are given to him in the Bible, and the miracles and everything. Not because those miracles may not be possible, I think they are. In God everything is possible, but because they smell too much of being a myth, an anecdotal tale with numerology encoded there, like the 40 days in the desert and so forth. I am open to the possibility that Jesus existed, and my very good friend Cisco Wheeler had me born again in time and accept Jesus in my heart. So if he really existed as the Son of God and as the real Savior, then I guess I would accept him in my heart. But I am not convinced he did, and the whole Savior thing is just religion and giving your mind away, and I don't like that, honestly. So I don't think he existed, but maybe you can show me convincing historical evidence, independent of the biblical accounts, that someone named Jesus existed. Now, as far as Lucifer is concerned, I certainly keep my mind open. Perhaps there is a person, a figurehead, an embodied Satan, but to me it just looks like it's one evil force, or one fallen force, that the Masons worship and call Lucifer, and as such I rebuke Lucifer. Okay, I want to have nothing to do with that kind of force, whether it's a force or a person or a personal entity or a fallen angel or whatever. I rebuke Lucifer and all its minions, or his minions or her minions. I want to have nothing to do with them, but it's important for me to transmit that very important forces on this planet do believe or do worship a Lucifer figure or force in secret, and they are engaged in a plan to bring in a new world order under the dominion of this Lucifer. And it is very, very, very important that I get this across, so we become awakened to this. So whether Jesus existed or not, I think you should be adult enough to behave yourself and be a good person and do good things and do the good, without a policeman figure Jesus standing on your head and making sure that you don't sin. Okay, I think we need to be adults and realize that we don't need a Jesus figure to behave ourselves. And regardless of that, I think it's important to rebuke Lucifer and keep our eyes open to all the possible infiltrations that the Luciferians may have on our society as they step up the tempo for the New World Order. Now let's return then to how these forces may have tried to orchestrate this Luciferian plan through by manipulating the space program, and also by manipulating the important works of fiction, especially the 2001 Odyssey series, to prepare the populace for things, and to put things, hide things in plain sight, so that they work on you unconsciously, but consciously they can tell you that it's just fiction. Alright, so like in the movie Counterpart, it looks, from what Richard Boylan says, that the real life monolith gave out some kind of energy. And in the case of the Apollo 10 astronauts, when they made it back to Earth, their spaceship had all its instruments scrambled or damaged, according to the insider that Richard Boylan talks about. And one of the persons in charge of studying this monolith in secret was to be astronomer Carl Sagan. Okay, now returning to 2001, A Space Odyssey, it was conceived and born, so to speak, as a work of fiction, as a project, I would say, when MGM, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, made a press release and announced that Stanley Kubrick would direct a project that was then called Journey Beyond the Stars. And the press release date, according to this very great book, very informative, 2001 Filming the Future by Pierce Bisoni, the press release date was scheduled for Tuesday, February 23rd, 1965. I have a strong personal resonance with that because that happens to be my birthday. That was exactly 10 years before I was born. So I've always felt an incredible personal resonance and attachment to the film and the movies and the books of 2001. And you know, it's interesting. Also, we're gonna get to the importance of the number 23 in a second, because Kubrick and Clarke first made Trader's Vic's in New York on April 23rd, 1964. Now there's the 23 again. So they actually made a little before the press release was made, about a year before. Now the number 23 is the number of degrees of Earth's axial tilt with respect to the north. It's the number of the ecliptic. And this number has been coded in many works of art down the ages, especially in paintings, as Gary Osborn has shown, and you can look at his work. And it's, you know, the angle of fingers, of compasses, you know, between the arms of compasses and so forth, or the inclination of, you know, pointing fingers in works of art. There seems to be a great recurrence of the 23-degree angle there. And what it does tell you is that there was this stream of secret knowledge being passed down that emphasized the importance of the axis tilt, of the knowledge of the angle of the axis tilt of the Earth, because it was related to the precession of the equinoxes and the great cycle of 26,000 years. This was important, and there is an esoteric significance to this. Now, interestingly also, the novel 2001 was mostly the product of brainstorming of Clarke and Kubrick, but it was also the product of long hours of solitary work by Arthur Clarke at his suite or room at the Hotel Chelsea in New York, which is at 222, that's 222, West 23rd, there's the number 23 again, the street. And just remember, we have 222, which is, you know, 1/3 of a beast, of the number of the beast there, and we have 23. Of course, 23, by transposing the numbers, you get 32, which is an important Masonic number, and they do like to hide their meaning by transposing certain numbers, especially with dates. You think I'm just going too far, or but no, I mean, these people are seriously into numerology, and you need to remember that.